Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another Dane stream. Whoop, there we are. Today we have a special treat, a little bit of an extra bonus stream today. I've already done my normal 5-hour ladder session stream in the afternoon. Now we're going live again with a 2-minute delay this time so that we can cast an amateur league, an alpha amateur league match between my team, the Drunken Outlaws, and some people from PlatHeroes. So I'll show you guys what the bracket looks like really quickly here. Alright, so we've got the Drunken Outlaws. Our lineup will be Ghost, who's a very strong Terran player. I haven't seen him play in a little while, but I know that he's a very strong player. He's been playing, he's been practicing, he should be pretty strong. I expect his relative level to be around about a 4.6, 4.7k Terran, although he may have improved recently and I'm not aware of it. Wolfshaw is looking really, really good lately. He's a Protoss player. He usually sits around 4.4 to 4.5k, but in terms of the ladder ranking. But I mean, lately I think he's been on fire. He's been playing really, really well, especially in the macro games. The last Clanwar that I saw him play in, he beat a 4800 Zerg player 2-0. His game was the ace match, and he absolutely... I mean, I wouldn't say he destroyed him, but I mean, he went toe-to-toe to him with him, and he was playing significantly better than him. So it was a very impressive showing from Wolfshaw. So I would love to see him go in PvZ. I don't know how strong he is PvP, but we'll have to see. Wait, Gator is playing his Terran. Gator is a very strong Terran player. It says that he's Diamond here, but we know that he's not actually a Diamond player. His ladder rank might be Diamond, but he's made it into 4.6, 4.7k many times. So he's a very strong player as well. And lastly, we have Gorthauer, who is on this team on paper definitely the strongest player. He's a Cyclone-loving Terran who will pretty much battle mech every single game other than TVT, because you can't really battle mech in high-level TVT. But Gorth, you never know. You never know what he's going to try. Now, the other team I don't know much about. I know Magnath because he's a friend of ours. He's a common face to see in the Drunken Outlaws Discord and chat. I think he may even have an account that's in our clan. So he's always around. He's always practicing with us. He's a notorious cannon rusher, but his level in macro games has been looking pretty strong lately anyway. And then we might be able to just check out these other two players here. Possibly. Make sure I'm not leaving anything. Okay. Right, so let's just get in the game, guys, because I think actually it's going to be starting soon. Slash... Okay, so now we're in the right channel. That will help. And then as soon... Okay, here we go. Now we can creep on there. You can read their profiles as well. I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, he's a first-time Masters player. 9 times Diamond. This is his first time in Masters, so he's about a 4.4k player. I think him placing in a Masters here probably has something to do with the MMR boundaries being lowered. So we'll say this guy's sort of like a sort of Diamond-y low Masters guy. He's in the Platinum Heroes team as well. And is Gravity on the team? Let's have a look here. We need to know Tassad and Chioclate. That's what we need to see. Oh, that was Tassad. Okay, we don't know anyone else. Oh, I should probably hide this. Oh, okay. Good thing we have a 2-minute delay. I'm just gonna go into the alpha chat and the alpha chat only. That way we don't have our scouting reports read by the enemy. As incredibly unlikely as that is to happen, you just never know. You just never know. Hopefully my voice won't give out today. I'm gonna be a little bit chill for the start because I want to make sure that I'm not burning out my voice, because I streamed for 5.5 hours today, as I always do. But when you talk for that long, and play games, well, it's mostly the talking, really. It starts to wear on your throat. It starts to make you sore. So I don't want to lose my voice. Try and give it lots of breaks. Now, XN may be around. If he is, I would love for him to join me for a co-cast because he actually offered. I'm gonna message him. I think he's on WoW right now. Alright, looks like we're starting pretty soon here, guys. We've got a gotcha in chat. Excuse me. What? Excuse me. From Cap and Hammered. Gotcha could make a strong showing tonight, guys. Who knows? Who knows? If only we could get this Dane guy in. What an absolute beast this guy can be. Oh. I heard that he makes Dark Templar sometimes. Look at his match history. What a player. Can we find a shot where it's mostly green? Is it possible? Probably not. No, it's not gonna happen, guys. It's not gonna happen. Maybe 2v2? No. Kill some cheesers. Is that what we're expecting here? Is some cheesers? Is that the play? Ladies and gentlemen. Stream is off? Is the stream off, guys? Well, you wouldn't be able to tell me, would you? Well, you wouldn't be able to hear me. Let's double check. Looks pretty on to me. Looks pretty on to me. We've got Ghost in the game. Let's see how he's doing. Sitting at a cool Master 1 with 4821 MMR. What a beast. What an absolute beast. I tell ya. Ghost, he's a top lad. He likes to make ghosts, actually. Which tends to be a strong strategy in this video game. Alright, see if I can plug this stream anywhere else. Oh, we need to plug it in the UK StarCraft channel. Dude, today I tried to host Molten's stream. Speaking of UK guys, I tried to raid Molten's stream with like 50 viewers. And it's the second time this has happened. As soon as we get there, his stream goes offline. And he's like, oh, sorry, man, my internet's cutting out. I'm like, shit. Unlucky. It's unlucky for multiple reasons, but it's unlucky for Molten because I'm sure he would have loved to have that many viewers. Would have loved it. How's everybody doing? All you good folks sitting in chat. You guys having a good day? It's 7 p.m. for me, and my wife is out. She actually might be home pretty soon too. She's out for a picnic, and it's very windy. She's finally wanted to have a picnic with her friends. So the rule in the UK is that you can meet up with 6 people. You can meet up with 5 other people. to make a total party of 6. And they were excited about that because they hadn't seen each other in ages other than on Zoom, which is like a face chat thing. So they're, you know, we've been getting beautiful weather all week, and of course the day that they actually go to see each other, it's super windy out. At least it didn't rain, but obviously it's a bit unfortunate. They can't go into a pub or anything. They can't get out of the wind, out of whatever. They have to stay outside. Unfortunately. Captain Hammered says that accent. It's really awkward interacting with the chat right now because I'm 2 minutes ahead of you. I'm from the future. So I've gotta remember what I did 2 minutes ago, and then it makes sense. But we're in kind of a time paradox here, where I'm still making new things, I'm making new comments for you to respond to, and then I'm gonna have to inevitably respond to them in 2 minutes. Hammered, how you doing, amigo? I can't wait to see you in some Clan Wars, you bloody beast. You bloody beast. You's an absolute baller, you are. Countess says, can't wait to watch us kill some cheeses. Me too, Countess. I want to see Magnath try and cannon rush Gator, and I want Gator to destroy his dreams. That's what I want. That will make my day. This is not, by the way, guys, this is not an unbiased cast. That's the professional way to do it. This is not a professional channel. This is Dane's channel. If I was streaming on the Drunken Outlaws, might be a little different. Although that's on our channel, so maybe it's even better. But I'm not a neutral observer, guys. I want to see these guys get smashed. And if they win, I'm going to be very upset. Alright, we've got Tassad, the first lamb out to the slaughter against the Drunken Outlaws. Ghost is going to eat this guy for dinner. Okay, I can promise you that. I'm talking up our team a lot, actually. This could be a problem. If we lose, it'll be pretty embarrassing. Alright. I'm going to go into my handy dandy casting mode. I'm going to turn my music off. And let's turn the game sound on. There we go. Get some ambiance. Oh. Oh. Da 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 da. 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 Yes, and now and no. More on that later. Hammered says, not bad, man. Played my first one last week. Up again tomorrow. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Alright, looks like Ghost's ready. Tassad was ready. Not too sure. Well, we'll be starting shortly here, guys. Don't get your knickers in a bunch. So yeah, I guess that's just gonna be the thing tonight. I think we're just gonna toss in random bits of British accentery. I'm gonna do some... I have to banter with myself, guys, because there's no co-caster. I have to completely run this show as a one-man show to all 7 of my viewers. It's gonna explode, though, guys. You just wait. It's gonna explode. Countess says, I'm expecting a nice clean 3-0 and will be extremely disappointed in whoever gives them a map. Well, no pressure then. Excuse me. Ay, 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 ay. No pressure then. Alright, are we on the right scene? I think we are. I have to get everything right because if I make any mistakes, it's going to be 2 minutes before I can fix them. Oh yeah, Wolfshaw against Magnath. Yeesh. That might be a bit of a toss-up, if you know what I mean. I'm assuming Gravity's stream has a delay as well. Oh, Red Wolf's online. Would love to get him in the game. Wonder how his form is. Not great, apparently, guys. Bronze 3. Yeesh. Wolf, I expected better of you, mate. Expect better. Get yourself out of that hole. That's gonna be, you know what's the unfortunate thing about that? That's gonna be a permanent, that's gonna be permanent on his, in his history. Whenever you look through his history, you're always gonna see that he was in bronze, bronze for this season. But Tassad is not here, apparently. No. Okie dokie, let's get started. Let's jump right into it. Eternal Empire LE, The Drunken Outlaws versus Platinum Heroes. I will do my best to give you a radio voice. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Danecast. Today we have the Drunken Outlaws in the Alpha Amateur Clanwar League versus a motley crew of noobs and cheesers from the Platinum Heroes. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Protoss player in the blue, Tassad. Kind of like Tassadar, but only a little bit less cheerful. And in the top right-hand corner, we have the Terran player from the Drunken Outlaws. He is absolutely on fire. He eats Protosses for breakfast. He is the Yellow Terran Ghost. Interested in seeing how both of these players approach this, as I do believe it is a best of one between each player and the opposing player. So I think you'd be less likely to cheese, but you actually never really know, right? People at this level are capable of just about anything. And so, I mean, personally, I wouldn't want to be doing any kind of super early cheese because I wouldn't want my tournament life, my only game that I'm showing people, to be determined on whether or not my opponent defends cheese. But you really never know. You really never know with the kind of players out there. Especially a team that has Magnath on it, who's a known cannon rusher. I mean, you never really know, right? So, Ghost isn't going to proxy anything just yet. He's just got his Reaper started, and he's going for a single gas. So this will be a Reaper expand for him from a single barrack. So looking to be a standard macro opener from him. Likewise, Tassad is looking in a fairly standard spot against Ghost. Although it's a little bit odd here that he's going for the Zealot out of his gateway. If the SCV spots this should prime him to know that there's something a little bit weird here, and especially because he hasn't got a pylon started, he's not going to be able to get an adept out or a stalker, so he's not really going to have that defense. So he's gonna, I know this build, I've seen this before, I've done this before. You send the Zealot around and you want to cancel the command center, but Ghost sees that the Zealot's on the way, so he's just going to build a command center on the high ground, and this is just going to be a little bit awkward. Somehow Tassad, does he save the supply? No, where did he build the pylon? Okay, no, he did just build it as natural, so he doesn't get supply blocked, so this is just a normal build he does. I think Ghost's response here is pretty nice. He's just going to build on the high ground, get his Marine out, and if the Zealot comes up his ramp, he's just going to laugh at him a little bit. So a little bit of an exchange from these two players, but Ghost does get inside and sees the Twilight Council. He doesn't get a probe kill, but he does get a little bit of damage done on one. The Stalker does deflect him. These buildings here from Tassad not really giving him any advantage in defending. The Reaper, it's not trapping him or anything, but since he leaves this Stalker back, he should be in a pretty good position anyway. Ghost's not really the one to be super aggressive with this Reaper in general. So this Zealot's going to be a little bit of a thorn in the side of Ghost here, just blocking the expansion. He's going to need to make a few Marines here, especially if this Stalker comes to join. He actually hasn't made an Adept in this particular game, but now the SCV is going to come down to make a bunker. He's got the Reaper and the Marine, so as long as he micros this properly, he should be able to deal with this no problem. I like this little run around the Rosie micro from Ghost. Does take a few swipes from the Zealot, only because of the pathing was not completely circular, but with a little bit of micro here, is actually going to get this perfectly fine. Doesn't even get the SCV, just a little bit of damage on 2 units, so gets basically the Zealot for free. A nice little bit of micro from Ghost there. That's like one of those micro challenges you play in the StarCraft Master Arcade. I remember there was one where you've got a Zealot versus 2 Marines, and you've got to kite the Zealot around while shooting at it with the other one. So nice little bit of on-the-spot micro from Ghost. Really enjoy that one. Ghost himself is going for the Widowmine drop, is making a tech lab fairly early on this factory, so he's going to show these 2 mines, and he's not even making a medevac, so actually I don't think it will be a drop from him in this game. It's just going to be a very quick tank Raven push, which is an interesting choice, especially considering that we've got a Dark Shrine up from Tassad. So Ghost, maybe with a little bit of a sixth sense here, he's realized he's got detection already. On the way. Like, this is pretty much the hardest counter you can get for a DT opener. You've got mobile detection from the Terran, so this would be good against this. It's exceptionally good against this. It would also be good if there was a Colossus build from Tassad, but I mean, okay, and Ghost is going to send his Reaper back in, and he's going to spot absolutely everything. So it's going to be a nice little bit of confirmation for him before the Warp Prism even gets near his base. Ghost is going to be aware that he needs to use this Raven defensively. Doesn't have too much in the way of defenses. He's got his Widowmine at the front, but he doesn't really have anything to defend against this Warp Prism. So there is the potential to do a little bit of damage here if Ghost doesn't react properly. But it looks like he's very aware of this. He's got a turret ready, and now that he pulls these Marines back, he's not really going to take too much of any damage here. Has the SCV pull, but doesn't actually lose a single SCV here, and he's going to get this for basically free. He loses 1 Marine to it, but getting a DT for 1 Marine, not going to be too bad of a trade whatsoever. So overall here, Ghost is looking to be in a pretty good spot. He's definitely got the nice push shaping up with his tanks, and there's no Blink Stalkers to speak of. Tassad decides to go for a fast 3rd base of his own. Ghost opting to stay on his 2 bases and start to get his add-ons for his barracks. So he's gone up to 3 barracks. He wants to get his stim and combat shields as soon as possible, which will open up a nice bio timing for him to maybe punish this faster 3rd of the Protoss player. Protoss in his camp is actually going for a fairly fast Colossus here. He's got the Zealot legs on the way as well. So there's not going to be any blink attack here, so the tank isn't going to be absolutely necessary, but the army here isn't looking too swell for Tassad. He's only got a few Zealots. He is making a Colossus, but he would have liked to do a lot more damage with that Warp Prism. And yeah, he can make Dark Templar. Yeah, he's got charged, but his anti-drop isn't quite there, and he doesn't really have all that much of a meat to his army at this stage. So we'll have to see what happens when Ghost does decide to push, and if he decides to take a 3rd base or not. Both players looking pretty solid at this stage, because even though Tassad didn't do any damage with that, he still took a 3rd behind it, and he still has his, he still kept 1 of the DTs alive, and the Warp Prism, more importantly. Would like to see him keep the Warp Prism on Ghost's side of the map, to be honest, to just make sure that he can punish a move out, but looks like he's just going to play very defensively right now. He knows that he's got a 3rd base. He knows that he's ahead in this regard. Ghost only now landing his 3rd base with the orbital there. And actually, Ghost is ahead in workers at this stage. He's got 51 workers to the 49 of Tassad, which gives him a fairly significant economic lead, considering he also has the mules. Protoss obviously wanting to be ahead in supply and in workers rather than behind. And Ghost is nearly finishing his stim and combat shields. He's also got his 1-1 from his double engineering bay. So his army is going to be very strong, especially after he adds these 4th and 5th barracks to his production line. And although Protoss does have 2 Colossi out and 2 Archons, this is actually starting to look like a more well-rounded army. The upgrades for Protoss aren't looking particularly good. I don't see a Forge in sight. And even these are all just gateways. So this is basically just a 3-base gateway push from our Protoss player. And yes, he has Splash in the form of Colossi. The upgrades, I think, are really going to hurt him in those small engagements, especially if Ghost decides to drop around the map. There is no blink, as far as I can tell. There's no blink, there's only Zealot leg, so it's a pretty scary attack coming out from Tassad, but if it attacks right as this 1-1 finishes, which it looks like it might, but it's important that Ghost doesn't get his medevacs caught out here. I don't know if he's going to notice that there are a few stalkers here, but again, without the blink, this isn't very scary. He's not going to be able to punish this, and Ghost has advanced warning that this is happening. He even has a single Marine here to spot the size of the attack. He sees everything here, and Ghost frantically building more supply depots to derp the Zealots pathing here. And this is basically, to be honest, an all-in from the Protoss player. This is a massive amount of units. It is going to be difficult to deal with. He's got a bigger army than Ghost at this stage, going up to 90 supply to the 54. But if Ghost places his tanks properly, and if he holds through this, he's got an upgrade advantage, and he's got the defender's advantage as well. So he needs to stim his bio, he needs to kite these back. He doesn't want to be taking too much damage. I don't know if he realizes how committed of an attack this is. Every single time that Protoss engages with this is another brick in the wall for him, because the tanks are getting a lot of splash damage on this. 4 tanks, 4 Ghosts at this stage, but even more DTs warping in, shamelessly warping in these DTs. But there is a Raven here, so it's not actually that big of a deal. Ghost stims his bio again, pulls his SCVs, realizes he needs to get something to equalize this, gets a nice big anti-armor missile on the majority of those Protoss units, so Protoss decides he needs to back off again. His economy is still in a great shape. Compared to Ghost, well, actually, it's not, because Ghost actually has 72 workers here. Ghost needs all the time he can possibly muster here. Rebuilding those depots is absolutely crucial here. He realizes he just needs to hold out on this, and a lot of this is melee units, so as long as he can kite these back and he holds position to the SCVs, this is a pretty nice defense so far from Ghost. But the Colossi are doing absolute work here. There's nothing to counter the Colossi. Ghost tries to focus them down. He does get one. Now, can he get a second one or a third one? I don't think so, but it looks like Ghost is going to hold now, just barely. He does end up cleaning this up. There's nothing to kill the Raven, and Ghost holds. The important thing about this attack here from Protoss is that even though he's got a great economy, he's only reset the economy a little bit. He's only equalized the economy, and most importantly, Ghost has the upgrades. He's about to get 2-2, and once you push with 2-2 against a Protoss who has 0-0, you are going to be in phenomenal shape. It's going to be very, very difficult for Protoss to get even trades here. He's going to need some kind of AoE splash connections here to make anything close to an equal trade for him. He's lost all of his Colossi, and Ghost has kept his tanks alive, so he's in a pretty good shape here. He's got his 2-2 finishing, and if he can start his 3-3 before Protoss even adds a forge, this is going to be really, really disgusting. I like this auto turret from Ghost dropping into the natural expansion of Tassad, getting a few kills here, but I don't know if Ghost realizes just how far ahead he is. It's hard to know. That Protoss has stayed on 47 workers, and meanwhile, Ghost has been producing them. He's still getting his upgrades. He's still got his 5 Raxes. And he's got his 2-2 upgrades now, so if he realizes this, he's got some really, really great advantages here. Protoss still opting not to get any more upgrades, not adding any forges, just going to go for yet another big attack. And to be honest, if he held the first attack, I don't see why he wouldn't hold the second one. This attack significantly weaker, only 4 or 5 DTs, Zealots, and a single Colossi this time, which is really the scary unit. And Ghost still has 2 tanks. He's still got a large amount of Marine and Marauder, and he's even got Ghosts in this fight. And while this is happening, he keeps sending this Raven, and the Raven's actually got 15 kills at this stage. So it's just massacring these probes, and there's not a 4th base for Tassad. He doesn't have any forges on the way, and he's not making disruptors or anything like that. He's just gonna risk it all by shoving everything he's got into Archons and Zealots and going into Ghost's base here. But with big EMPs comes big responsibility. I think Ghost is gonna be able to hold this. If he even hits 1 EMP on this army, it's gonna be an absolute massacre for him. Everything's funneling into this choke point. He does just focus down the base at this point. He does realize that he needs to equalize the economy somehow, but Ghost spells blood, and he stems his entire bioforce onto the enemy, and he's killing these Archons one by one. The last Colossus falls, and all that's left is a warp in of DTs and Zealots from the Warp Prism. But Ghost has a turret here. He's got all of his SCVs repairing this to full strength, so he's in great shape here. Meanwhile, this Raven still sitting on 15 kills, could go in and get some more if he wanted to, but I think Ghost realizes that now's the time that you just win the game. This Protoss has foregone upgrades for so long. I think you get to the point where you just don't even bother with the upgrades. You just hope for some kind of a miracle. I think maybe Disruptors at this stage might be a good idea. Might be a good idea, but you know, that's that doesn't seem to be in the cards. He's still making the Colossi obviously a little bit more comfortable with those, but again, the Colossi doing a lot more damage with weapon upgrades and doing a lot less against armor upgrades. So since he's behind an upgrade, these Colossi aren't going to trade effectively whatsoever. Even with this bio, I just don't think it's going to be that big of a deal for him. If he hits 1 or 2 EMPs, he should be fine here. Carpet bombs absolutely everything of the Protosses with EMPs, and now Protoss is in a very difficult position here. Even more kills. The Raven goes up to 25 kills, gets another clean 10 kills with that auto turret. Ghost realizes there's no anti-air. He might as well just drop the Protoss and catch him out of position. So a nice big drop from Ghost is going to go in the main of Tassad, and this is an absolute nightmare scenario. Even if you get your army here, it's not sure that he'd be able to defeat it. So Tassad GG's out, realizing he's been beaten. He's actually got 3-3 with that. So it would have been 3-3 versus 0-0. Sorry about the missing production tab, guys. I guess we have just the level of casting. The level of casting. Just impeccable. Let's see. Ghost is definitely not a bronze 3 level player. No, he's a Masters 1 level player. I don't know. I am a fan of the production tab. I know that's the standard way of doing it, but I don't think you always need to have it on. I think you can have a little bit of mystery. I mean, I don't think you have that in Brood War, do you? All right, so that puts us up 1-0 against the Heroes. I'm not sure if they're gonna play again. Nobody tells me nothing. So while we get the next game set up, guys, I'm going to set the BRB screen. I'm going to go say hi to my wife because she's back now. And then we'll be back shortly with some more StarCraft action. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we are back. Whoop. Whoopity boop. No, that's not what we want. That's what we want. Let's get in here. Oh, look at the timing. So just join the game. Everything good, everything peachy keen, guys. And this is the match you're all here to see, guys. This is the match you're all here to see. These two players, no strangers to one another. No strangers. And this is a good bit of luck for Magnath. So Magnath, for those who don't know, he loves to cannon rush. Okay? He loves to cannon rush. So that obviously makes him a great choice against Wolfshaw. Because Wolfshaw, known to be weak against cheese. Wolfshaw's a very strong macro player. If you let him get that War Prism out, he's going to do work with it. But, like myself, has been known... okay. Has been known to be weak to cheese, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Hooky with Rookie says, I hate the black screen bug. Oh, no, dude. I'm sorry that you have the black screen bug. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what to do about it. So, Wolfshaw here. So, here's how this is going to go, guys. I'm gonna predict the future here, okay? Magnath, also known as Yosemite Spam. Magnath is going to cannon rush Wolfshaw. Wolfshaw's going to defend it with a blind counter. And Wolfshaw's going to win. Or Wolfshaw's going to blind counter it. And he's not going to do it. And then Wolfshaw's going to play from a disadvantage and then still win. Okay? That's what's going to happen. You heard it here. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Danecast. Today we have a special game here. Let's just set the score here, guys. Just to be clear. I think is it best of 5? I think it's best of 5, right? We've got in the bottom left-hand corner of Golden Wall LE, he is Wolfshaw. He's playing for the Drunken Outlaws in this clan war in the Alpha Amateur League, and he is playing against his opponent, Yosemite Spam, also known as Magnath. No strangers to one another, and it is going to be a forge from Magnath, so no surprise here. There is going to be a cannon rush, and Magnath has already sent his probe out in advance, so it'll remain to be seen how Wolfshaw decides to deal with this. So there's a little bit of banter between these two, but Wolfshaw is not going to be surprised by this whatsoever. He knows this is going to happen, so we'll have to see how he decides to handle this. So a couple of pylons already going up. Wolfshaw with the trap on the probes, really nice so far. Got a lot of damage on that probe. Have to see if he goes for the low ground or not. Another probe coming in from Magnath, and the block from the probe does not let this go down, and he's even got a few on the low ground, so this one probe is very, very low, and the cannon goes, this pylon's up, and he's got another one up here, but he doesn't have anything on the low ground building, and a second gateway from Wolfshaw already with his core. He looks like he just doesn't care about this. He could put on a pylon here and just chrono out a stalker and be in great shape. A little bit awkwardness here. 2 cannons coming down for Magnath, a third pylon here as well, sorry. And a zealot being chronoed out. So Wolfshaw needs to get these cannons down as soon as possible, but there's not actually that great of a wall here. So as long as the probes go in and get some damage on this shouldn't be too big of a deal. This pylon going down, and this zealot might be able to burst this one down as well. This one probe still alive for Magnath. A little bit awkward. I would love to see this zealot just move it, get some damage on it, but now the zealot's going to start picking away at these next 2 cannons. So only 1 cannon gets up for Magnath over here, and now the 2 gateways are finished for Wolfshaw. Nothing actually being touched in. Oh, and Magnath's going to tap out, or Magnath wins. Wolfshaw deciding that he's not wanting to play from this position. Okay. Well played, Magnath. I think Wolfshaw may be a little bit frustrated there, guys. Maybe a little bit frustrated. He doesn't like losing to cannon rushes, as no one really does. So very, very close. But I think that's probably going to be the only game they get. And that's the one we kind of figured might happen. This is their best possible matchup. Of all the players on our team, you don't want Magnath against a Terran. And I think, who else do we got? We have, yeah, just all other Terrans. So that's the only chance, really, he would have had to win with a cannon rush, I think. And it worked for him. Who is Gator playing for? Yeah, it's a little bit of a complicated situation, buddy, because we've got Gator, who helps out with Platinum Heroes, but not playing for Platinum Heroes. And we've got Magnath, who is a friend of ours, but is playing for Platinum Heroes. It's just we're too intertwined with this team. Alright, we have game 3, guys. I'm glad they took a game off of us, to be honest. Wouldn't want things to be too boring. Want to make it interesting. But definitely going to be some frustration from Wolf about that. Considering he took down a 4.8k Zerg 2-0 in the last clan war. The Godsha memes are going to be on pause for a little bit. I still think you're a god, Wolfshaw, don't worry. I said no nightshade, but was given to me regardless. So a little bit of banter here. Gator saying, I'm surprised to see you on this map, considering you are... this is not a great Zerg map versus Terran. But here we are. Here we are. Yeah, to be honest, if I'm playing against someone who I know cannon rushes, I just do a 12 pylon, 13 gate. You chrono that zealot out. Hang on, let me just type in chat here. Wolfshaw's saying it feels very friendly, so I'm glad to hear that. He's not taking it too badly. He's in a good head. I'm glad to hear that, man. It's a little different playing against someone you know, and you know they're gonna cannon rush you, and you just there's no super big surprises. You know it's a possibility. So he's definitely not gonna be too angry about that. So nice manners, nice head from Wolfshaw, not getting too angry about it. I got a lot of respect for that. It's really hard not to get frustrated and be angry sometimes. All right, we have our next game starting up here. We've got Gator versus Chocolate, also known as Chocolate, assuming. It's just a weird spelling of chocolate. Let's see what he tastes like when Gator rips his teeth into him. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Danecast. We have the third game in the clan war between Platinum Heroes and the Drunken Outlaws, and we have our first player from the Drunken Outlaws. Sorry, our third player from the Drunken Outlaws. We have the Orange Terran on Nightshade. We have Gator. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Zerg player from the Platinum Heroes team. He is playing Green Zerg. He is Chocolate. Now let's make sure that we get the scores right. I do believe it's 1-1, and it is a best of 5. And I've got those hockeys down, guys. You don't even got to worry about it. You don't even got to worry about it. Let's see what Gator decides to go for. He looks so far to be a pretty standard Reaper expand from him, and Chocolate himself also going for a standard hatch first. Probably see him get a gas in a pool pretty soon. Both players looking to be like they're going into a macro game here, but you never really know. Always interesting to see what Zergs do with their first few overlords. This one obviously kind of compulsory to go to the pervert pillar. He needs to spot. He doesn't do anything fancy with it. He just goes straight across the map to this pillar. He doesn't want to get caught out by a Marine. This one, interestingly here, is going to kind of look for a 3 racks in this position, and then might go into the airspace here. I've also seen Zergs leave it over here to spot for Reaper jumps and things like that, and then maybe over here for Hellions. But looks like he's going to be pretty aggressive with it, sending it all the way to Gator's base. Where's this going, actually? Yeah, all the way to the third base of Gator. He now has his spawning pool and his gas, so everything looking pretty standard for both players. Gator puts his CC on the low ground, getting his orbital command, getting all of the macro things that he wants. And I'm interested in seeing what Gator's TVZ is. If he's on, if it's on the line, he needs to win a clan war game against a pretty good Zerg. He's not going to do something like a 2-1-1 potentially. I know he favors doing some more, I think more solid builds than a 2-1-1. I don't think he wants to do anything that skips the Hellion phase, because Gator obviously can be quite good with those Hellions, can do quite a lot of damage with them, and it can keep people honest with them very well. So a little bit of a block here at the third base from Gator. So Chocolate goes for the close by air third base to his natural. Getting a little bit of harass here with the Reaper, getting a little bit of damage on these Zerglings, but really just it's nice careful play from Chocolate. He's not going to get anything lost here. I like the decision to take this third base instead. He knows he needs to get that on time, and since Gator's investing resources into blocking this one, having the forward one isn't actually going to be that big of a deal. Now the Queen starts waddling her way out to the third base, is going to chase this Reaper away, and the sooner speed finishes here, the sooner Gator's going to need to get out. But it looks like the speed is going to be very, very slow indeed, only starting at 3 minutes. I guess that's a pretty normal time for a Zerg to get speed, but I guess I'm just comparing it to Protoss timings. So This Reaper could stay a little bit longer if he wanted to, but there's really nothing else for him to do. He might be able to get the odd creep tumor here, but I think Gator wants to get him home and make sure that he's able to move out with the Hellions once they're finished. So Gator is also going for, it looks like it's going to be a Cloak Banshee follow-up here to the Hellions, because he's got the Tech Lab on the barracks beside the starport, so we might swap these add-ons and get a Cloak Banshee. I mean, there's lots of other options for him, but that seems to be the most logical thing. But it looks like instead he's going to go for a Liberator, and he's going to move out with the 2 Hellions and the Reaper to see if he can get any creep tumors or any transferring drones or anything like that. But there's 2 Queens in position already, so really nothing too important is going to happen here. So Gator's just going to poke around, keep these guys here, stop the creep from proceeding any further than it already has, and maybe get a little bit of damage on this queen, but Chocolate very careful with these queens at this stage, not going to give too much damage up. Gator opts to get his 3rd base, he gets it in the wall, pretty standard timing, pretty standard spot, so nice clean play from Gator, making sure that he's getting his economy running as soon as possible. So it's going to be a 3-base Zerg versus a 3-base Terran, but the next steps that we see from both players are going to determine how the game shapes up, because both players have followed their playbook thus far. Nothing crazy has happened, nothing's been thrown out of the window. There's nothing too too intense going to happen from either of these players. They need to enact their mid-game plans and see how those go before they do anything else. So Gator opting to get a 2nd Tech Lab on his starport, and he's getting his stim started from his barracks. So no fusion core just yet. He is just poking away at this queen, gets a lot of damage on it, but doesn't actually get it. Takes quite a lot of damage on one of his Hellions as well, but he keeps all the Hellions alive, and the creep is looking pretty healthy here. Even though Gator's been out on the map, it's still very, very nice creep spread in 3 different positions. It's not deep creep spread, but it is wide creep spread. Gator's definitely going to want to be punishing that as soon as he possibly can. He doesn't want to have to push all the way into creep by his 3rd base or his 4th base when he does finally push out. And if this creep is left unattended, he is going to have some issues when he does finally decide to push. So Gator's 3rd CC finishing up now. He's very careful with these Hellions, being careful to draw them back. A little Overlord pops in. No Overlord speed for Chocolate, but he is going to see absolutely everything with this nonetheless. A couple of Marines are going to chase it away, but he's already seen everything. He sees that Stim is building. He sees that he's got tanks on the way, so it's the Tech Lab on the factory with no other factories is going to indicate it's almost certainly going to be tanks, so that will potentially indicate his tech choice, and it looks like he decides to go for a Spire as a result. He does get 2 Evo Chambers and has his Baneling speed on the way as well, so it's going to be a Ling Bane Muta-based build for Chocolate, and is just as well because obviously the Mutas are going to be nice to harass Gator and get rid of those tanks if possible. So it's going to be a really nice classic style TVZ here where we've got Bio Tank versus Ling Bane Muta. I absolutely love this style. It's a blast to watch. Both players have a very good chance of winning if they play properly. It's all about multitasking. It's all about mechanics and macro. It's all about catching your opponent out of position, trying to get medevacs in where the mutas are flying somewhere else, and keeping those tanks safe and things like that. Nice little grenade from Gator. Nets him a queen here without losing anything. He's kept all these Hellions alive, and he gets a free queen. So really, really nice little bit of harassment from Gator. A single queen isn't obviously going to be a game-changing thing at this stage, but every queen is going to be a little bit more energy spent in creep tumors, so it's kind of indirectly stopping the creep spread there as well. Look at this now. The 1 creep tumor thickness has been increased to 5 in this particular location, so this is going to be a hard one for Gator to push back. But now he's got a pretty big push coming down with 2 tanks, Hellbats, and Marines. If he had a couple of medevacs with this would be very scary. It looks like he's going to stim in and get some of this creep down while the medevacs boost on their way to him. I hope he boosts these and joins, because this becomes a lot scarier with medevacs. And as soon as this creep proceeds, it's going to be a very, very scary push. An Overlord going down for Chocolate here, so it's going to be actually supply blocked at this stage. So Gator needs to make sure he controls this very carefully. The Ling Bane does commit completely onto his forces, and everything gets obliterated for Gator with only 1 Baneling remaining. But obviously you don't want that push to be deflected. I can't help but think if the medevacs were there, it might have helped, but I don't think it would have made that big of a difference at this stage. Chocolate going up to 65 workers here, and the Mutas are on the way to harass Gator's 3rd base. So it's going to be a little bit awkward here. He's got a few Marines stimming in here, but there just isn't the Marine count that he needs, and this is a massive amount of units. The Mutas flying into the main base of Gator, and he's frantically kiting in 2 locations, but it's very difficult for him. He's trying frantically to get his turret up in the main, but so many SCVs are going down. He's gone down to 60 workers. A small force of Marines is going to be pulled back to try and defend against these Mutas, but the damage is being done, and he goes down to 8 workers killed. Doesn't actually lose any of the production though, which is going to be a nice little save for him. But Chocolate's gone up to 90 workers here. He's deflected the push, and he hasn't really lost any of the Mutalisks. So definitely a dominant position here for Chocolate against Gator here. Unfortunately, he does finally now have his missile turret up, but look at these engineering bays in this location. They're very, very vulnerable to being sniped, and he doesn't have his 2-2 on the way just yet. Does he even have his... Yeah, he's got his 1-1, but he needs to start his 2-2. And his army's looking a little bit small compared to the horde of Zerg units across the map. Obviously, this is pre-patch where Terran is a little bit challenged versus Zerg in this particular matchup, but you never know. You never know. So Zerg is a so these mutas are going to fly in now, and just like I said, he might be able to snipe these upgrades. This would be kind of annoying for Gator to deal with. He needs to lower these depots and get the Marines there, obviously, to help him, and Gator needs to put some pressure on at this stage. So this is the nightmare scenario where Zerg is being left to his own devices. He's just thinking about ways to kill you. He's thinking about what army composition he wants. He's got 1 million larvae. He's got $1 million in the bank. He can buy whatever he wants. The saving grace for Gator is that these mutas are just sitting here waiting, and if he gets this could be a little bit awkward for him, but he's going to focus down this turret, and it's not even going to be a repair on it. So unless Gator pulls some units back, he's going to be in a little bit of an awkward spot against these mutas. Pulls his entire army back, realizing that if there's this many mutas in this position, it's going to be very difficult for him to push, and he probably wants to wait for his 2-2 anyway at this stage. So he stims these Marines in. He goes into the little gap here to try and defend against this. And Gator taking a segment of his army to the south of the Mutalisks and might be able to catch these out if they commit in. And this is a nice little trap from Gator if he realizes this. Not sure if either player has vision of this. Gator barely does, but Chocolate, they both see each other a little bit. Gator doesn't see it though because the Mutas have slightly better sight range. So if Gator realizes it, he might be able to do a little bit of damage, but Gator's pulled his entire army back now, so the Mutas can go back in. So the trap was set, but a little bit of hesitation there from Gator, I think, thinking that Chocolate was going to commit to that more than he actually did. And now the reinforcements in the counter attack for Chocolate are setting up at Gator's third base, and so these Liberators are going to spot them just barely, and they might be able to be pulled back. But Gator is kind of in between two difficult spots right now. He's getting his army trapped in the back here, but there's no Banelings at least. But he can't retreat these medevacs because he sent this full army out. And the Zergling counterattack at his third base is going to do lots of damage because he doesn't have anything there to defend it. The Liberators are still flying out. They might be able to do a little bit of damage, but there's spores and queens all over the place, so it's unlikely that these are going to do too much. And now these mutas are sniping the barracks. The 2-2 is about to finish, which thankfully for Gator it does finish, and now he has the opportunity to do a little bit of damage, but there's so many Zerglings, so many Banelings, and so many mutas here that it's unlikely that Gator's going to get much done with this. Does add a Thor to the composition. He has his 2-2, but now we've got the adrenal glands and the hive for the Zerg player, and he's even got his Ultralisks on the way. So while Gator's getting his 3-3, trying to retake his third base, this Zerg is on 5 bases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases soon to be. And he's able to just throw away units at Gator at this stage. So very, very difficult position to be in as a Terran here. You need to trust in the power of your forces, in your mech units, your tanks, your Liberators, things like that. They might be able to trade a little bit better, but this bio is just not likely to get the job done versus this much Ling Bane. You can pretty much just move it at this point, and you're going to be in big trouble. So look at the amount of creep here in the middle of the map. These queens still doing a massive amount of damage, but the Zerglings are running in one at a time. Gator getting a little bit of a good trade here. Nice little splits from him, but there's so many Banelings that are finally going to connect here. You tanks still stay alive, and most of these Zerglings and Banelings are dead now for Chocolate, so this is the opportunity that Gator needs. He's got the 2-2 upgrades. He's going to reinforce with the rest of this army. He's retaken his third base. He's saturated it, but he's on 40 drones to 91. You know, this is like watching a sci-fi movie, right? Where the bugs are just overwhelming. It's not a good one. It's not one where the good guys win. It's going to be one where the Zerg infestation overwhelms absolutely everything. It's more of a horror movie at this stage. So, I don't know. What do you do as your Gator in this situation, right? He's got Widow Mines burrowed. He's going to take a defensive position. I think he realizes that he might have pushed his luck a little bit too far there. So he got lucky there. He got a pretty good trade on the Ling Bane. It might keep him in the game, but he's on 98 supply against 66 of his own, and he does start his 4th base here, but I feel like it's unlikely that this is ever going to get started. These Mutas still in position to do a little bit of damage here. There luckily are 2 missile turrets here, but Gator hasn't even started his 3-3. I don't think he can really even afford it at this stage. He's just bottoming out on minerals. I think he's just going to let this happen. He's got a few Marines coming to chase these pesky Mutalisks away, but I don't think he's going to have to wait for a fight too much longer because Zerg is coming for him. A big Widow Mine going off, but Gator needs to take this army back. He's got quite a few Widow Mines here, actually. He might get some really nice connections here. Absolutely melting the Ling Bane, and only a few Banelings remain, a few Ultralisks popping in, so it's really just Lings and 4 Ultralisks here popping into the 3rd base of Gator, but he's down to 33 workers. A nice little flank here from Gator comes in, but with every swipe of these Ultralisks, and you know, a few more Marines and Marauders go down, so Gator cannot afford these trades at this stage, whereas the Zerg can make these trades all day. So it's going to be very, very difficult for him. I really don't see a way for Gator to win at this stage, to be honest. He's starting his +3 attack. He's getting his 4th base on the way. He's retaking this, but he just doesn't have the resources to do anything good right now. He's consolidating his army. He's got those Widow Mines. He's kept a fair amount of his bio alive. He's got quite a few Marauders here, but again, he's not going to be able to take this base. So it looks like Chocolate might be able to just keep him on 3 bases ad infinitum and just keep making links. So maxed out Zerg against the 57 army supply of Gator, but given this is a tournament match, given this is, you know, a clan war match, Gator's not going to give up anytime soon. He's going to fight this to the very bitter end. He's going to see what he can do. I think he even has drilling claws for these Widow Mines, which is going to be really, really nice for him, because unless there is a Overseer, he's not going to be able to do anything. But there's so many Banelings. There's even a Viper for some blinding clouds there, so it's going to clean up absolutely everything from Gator. He said, GG, well played, and he taps out. So it's going to be 2-1 for the Platinum Heroes. Magnath says Plat Heroes superior clan. All right, we'll see. It's not over yet, Magnath. It's not over yet, you cheeser. All right, don't worry. "90 workers, though. I've never seen Gator lose. Well, there's a first time for everything. It's so frustrating being 2 minutes ahead. Guys, it's sad. Can we get some Pepe Sads? Can we get some Monka S's? Monka S's for Gator and Wolfshaw. Alright. We're talking about strats again, so I better leave. So... can I actually leave this? Leave chat. There we go. Okay. Looks like it's going to be a TVT. Misha Davy, I believe. Can we get this match? Okay, so it's going to be Gorth versus Misha Davy. So, context for this match. We're going to have Gorth Hauer go up against Misha Davy. Now, Misha is a 4480, maybe, yeah, sub 4.5k Terran. I don't know how he plays, but this is the important thing here, that he probably plays standard, and he's probably pretty decent at he's probably pretty decent at macro, right? Now Gorthauer is a much higher rated Terran. He's 4,900. He's 500 MMR above Misha, but Gorthauer hates TVT. His TVT is his worst matchup. He hates it because Gorthauer loves to do cyclones. He is known in the clan as Scary Cyclone Man. So his TVT, it's quite difficult. It's quite difficult because his cyclones are what make him a strong player, and you just can't use cyclones that much in TVT. Can't be your defining feature because tanks are so good against them. Tanks just obliterate cyclones. There's just, once you have more than one tank, you're just invincible against cyclones. It's so difficult. So there's a number of things you can do as a result of that. You can learn it, which is what he's been doing. So Gorth's TVT has been getting a lot better. Excuse me. Oh Lord. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. It's been getting a lot better. He's been practicing. He's been learning the ropes. But he's got tricks up his sleeve as well. There's lots of things he can do. I would like to see him macro, because I know that he's a better player than Misha. So that's what I'm hoping for. But who knows? Who knows? And yeah, just a shout out to my teammates. You probably should keep the strat discussions to Clanwar chat and Discord. Just saying. I left the clan chat, but you know, you never know. There could be spies. There could be spies. That's how you pronounce it? Pronounce what? All right. Let's get started. Yikes. Yikes. All right, guys. We're down 2-1. It's against Platinum Heroes. We don't want to lose to these guys. Moist Chow asks Red Dane ASL. The answer is 14F Cali. You? All right. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. It's about time. Oh, hell, Jimmy. It's about time. In the top right-hand corner of Zen LE, it is the blue Terran player from Dobro. He is Misha Dave.
Game paused.
And in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh, this hurts my voice. He is the Orange Terran. He is Gorthauer. I'm not sure what he needs the pause for. Am I a referee?
Game resumed.
Alright, there we go. Gator's got it. Alright. Yeah, so we'll see what Gorthauer decides to do in this game. I know he likes, now that I'm actually streaming the game now that it's already started, I know he likes cheesing. I know he likes just to do a proxy a Marauder, and it looks like he might be doing that in this game. He's sending his SCV out pretty early here, and I got a little bit scared there because I see the birds. I thought that might be an enemy or something. It might be an SCV, but it's not. He's sending out 2 SCVs very early here to his enemy's base, and we'll have to see how Misha decides to build this, because if he knows, it's really easy to defend this push. It's really easy, right? You've got 2 Marauders. You've got 2 racks worth of Marauders coming at you. It's gonna be scary, but if you know, you just build a bunker. You don't do only Hellion Reaper, and you defend, right? However, does Misha know how Gorth plays? It looks so far like he doesn't. It looks so far like he's just preparing for this to be a decent game. He's not scouting yet. Like you'd expect him to scout pretty soon. He's not. He's playing a safe build, which might incline him not to scout. But he even sends this. He's going to build a depot with this. So this is the worst case scenario for him. But he's building a very fast tech lab himself. So a tech lab from Gorth. He's got 2 racks worth of production here, so that might be a nice little advantage for him. But I don't know if he's just blind countering, but he's already got the tech lab with concussive shells, so a very bold choice from him, even if it's just defensive. I don't know how he's going to spend the rest of his money, though, because he's got... Okay, it looks like he's going for a factory, so it's going to be concussive shells on a Marauder with a factory. Meanwhile, it's going to be double concussive shell Marauders from Gorthauer, so definitely not a typical TVT that you would see. Might be just a bit of a blind counter from Misha. He might just be doing the... Marauder Hellion build, I think, is a thing right now. You do a Marauder Hellion push early on. I don't know how well the double Marauder push does against it. I assume that this is better because you skip the Hellions, and Marauders are just great against Hellions, right? So yeah, so we'll have to see. So Gorthauer is moving out with his 2 SCVs and his 2 Marauders. So there's going to be, again though, 2 Marauders from Misha. Gonna give him a nice little advantage here. He's only making the 2 with concussive shells, and then now he's gonna switch over to a reactor here. So he's got the options of what he wants to do. I think these 2 SCVs are the crucial part of this because they're gonna give him the leeway he needs to fight against these Marauders, but he's got his own Marauder stuck, and one of his Marauders goes down. So definitely not an ideal situation for him, but such a big SCV pull from Misha. I think he's in a very good spot to defend this, to be honest. Let me just fix this here, by the way. So yeah, these are going to go down, but look how far these SCVs are being pulled. So while this is happening, Gorth is microing his little heart out. He's got the Marauders killed, and there's no more Marauders, more importantly, for Misha. He doesn't have the infrastructure to build them. He is making a Cyclone, but he doesn't have the tank, and he's got all of his workers here chasing this around. So actually a better income for Gorthauer at this stage, and as long as he keeps making these Marauders, he's going to get a pretty good trade. Gets quite a few of those SCVs killed, so what started being really, really, really terrible for him because of the blind Marauder from Misha turns out to be pretty good, actually. And definitely, Gorth is no stranger to Cyclones being built. He knows how to deal with Cyclones. He knows how to play this against Cyclones. So I wonder how he's going to handle this himself. A lock-on from the Cyclone does kill one of the Marauders, but if there's a repair from Misha, it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to get the connections that he needs to here. So he knows he needs to get this wall down. Does manage to get it down, but the Cyclones wasted lock on, and now it goes down as well. So only 2 Marines versus 3 Marauders of Gorthauer, and so many SCVs have gone down as well. So it should be actually a pretty nice situation for Gorth. He's microing here really, really nicely. He's even able to get damage on these. Now if he can snipe this last Cyclone, this would be really, really nice for him. So Misha holding on for his dear life. He's even managed to put down a command center during this. But it's a pretty scary situation for him because the army from Gorth is so scary. And if he gets this Cyclone down, this is kind of his hope here. This is what keeps him alive. He knows he needs to keep repairing it, but there's ever more Marauders being added from Gorthauer, and all of his attention on Misha has to be on this Cyclone. And Gorth is killing the last Marine here. He's getting the SCVs to be pulled once again, but all of this missed mining time is just being traded for 2 Marauders, and if Gorth keeps microing these back, it's going to be very difficult. And now he even gets this. He's going to get the next Cyclone. So 3 Cyclones going down. I don't agree with the Cyclones. You need a tank, I think. But again, it's pretty difficult either way. So Gorthauer is still microing. He's got his 1 Marauder on the ramp here, but every Marauder that adds is another brick in the wall for Misha. This is not how you want to be playing this, just fighting these with only SCVs. Meanwhile, Gorthauer just still pumping out Marauders back home. Another Cyclone's going to be coming out. going to be coming out, but I don't know what his plan is. But for this Cyclone, because he's got no SCVs left, he does have 2 command centers, but now Gorth is sitting on top of his production and his aces and his SCVs, so he's going to be able to stop any mining whatsoever. And no matter how many of these Marauders this kills, it is just going to be great for Gorthauer. So nicely played from Gorthauer. A very weird game. A very weird game. All right, I need to read this cluster fudge of chat that happened during that game. Guys, do I need to up the cost of the highlights? Do I need to up the cost of the highlights for you guys who are, you wealthy landed elite? Oh, by the way, thanks Hazim the Assassin for the follow, as well as Gravity. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. You're awesome. So that makes it a 2-2, I believe. And it's a best of 5. It is a best of 5. So... best of 7? No, best of 5. Am I crazy? Yeah, it's best of 5. It's best of 5. It's 4 matches. And an ace. Best of 5. So I'm not even going to look at clan chat. I'm not even going to look because I don't want to see the discussion over who we're going to pick. I don't want to give anything away. Wait 2 minutes for chat to catch up. Gorthauer is keeping us alive, guys. He's keeping us alive. This is a very important match, guys. This is a very important match. This is more important than the BlizzCon finals, some might say. Because of the bad blood between these teams. It's not really bad blood. It's more just like we're friends. So somewhere between the two. Yeah, but Gorth. Wait, I'm just gonna type it. Yeah, no, I'll just say it. Yeah, so basically he made slow Marauders, which made him look like a genius. But he stopped making them because he didn't see that you were doing it still. Now look at clan chat. I don't think I can look at clan chat. I don't even think I can, guys. If there's something I need to know, put it in Clanwar chat. Okay. So both teams are going to have to pick an ace match. They're going to have to pick an ace player to play in the ace match. I don't know who we're going to send out. I don't. I mean, guys, if you need me to, look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's ready. He's ready. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm all warmed up from casting and drinking beer. So I think... I know, I'm just saying. Or you could put one of the good players out. That's an option too. That's an option too. Yeah, I think if he just gets a tank out, because he had the fast factor with the tech lab. If he just builds a tank and heals the wall, it's over. Now you're above my face. Okay, guys. So yeah, we're just gonna do a little be right back here because I can't fill the time anymore. I'm out of ideas. I'm out of great, crazy, witty jokes. So I'm gonna go in game. Nope, I'm gonna do a be right back and don't go anywhere. So I'm gonna go in game. Nope, I'm gonna do a be right back and don't go. All right, Suskin wants to see my face. All right. All right, this is what you want, Suskin? This is what you want? This is what you want? Wait. Does that work? The fuck? Supposed to zoom. Supposed to zoom right now, and it's frustrating me that it's not. Had multiple cameras? Oh my god. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. I like your idea, Red Wolf. I like your idea, buddy. All right, looks like it's going to be Chocolate versus Gorthauer. $24-hour Dane close-up stream. I could do that, guys. I could do that. Charity. It's better than the paint drawing stream idea someone had a week ago. All right, let's get started, guys. We have Gorthauer, the Mech Lord, the scary Russian Cyclone Man, versus Chocolate, himself a pretty scary Zerg, showing us. I'm gonna be honest here, guys. Chocolate scares the crap out of me. Okay, because he scares the crap out of me because Gator is a beast, and he made Gator look bad. No offense to Gator, but that game was like insane. So that Zerg made me look very scared of Chocolate, very scared, because I know how good Gator is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Danecast. This time we've got Game 5 in the series between the Drunken Outlaws and the Platinum Heroes team. Playing for the Drunken Outlaws, we have the scary Russian Cyclone Man in the orange in the bottom right. He is Gorthauer. And his opponent, playing the green Zerg in the top left-hand corner of Simulacrum LE, it is Chocolate. Let's see if Gorthauer can get a taste this time. Chocolate going for a pretty standard here, 17 hatch. So no cheesy early pool from him in this particular game. You're not going to see any kind of early roach rush. Just looking to do the macro thing. Looks like he's a very macro-oriented player, and for good reason. He's a strong macro player. We saw that he was capable of that in the last game he played against Gator, and Gorthauer didn't get to show the macro player that he is because he just cheesed through a TVT because Gorthauer doesn't like TVT. Gorthauer likes to make Cyclones, and this is a matchup where you can make lots and lots of Cyclones. This is a match where there's no siege tanks from your opponent, so you can make Cyclones, and you can make Blue Flame Hellions, and you can fly them around, and you can kill bases, and you can force the Zerg into a composition that he doesn't want to go into. So he's not going to be able to go into Lingbane Muta this game, because he's going to have Blue Flame Hellions everywhere. It's just not going to be the trade that he needs. I mean, I'm saying that knowing basically nothing about this matchup, but this is what I expect. I expect that he's going to have to go Roach Ravager. Maybe Infestors at some point. I'm not too sure. I know Infestors can be annoying. If you get the Fungal, you can make a really good trade. But Roach Ravager itself is already a pretty scary thing to deal with. So Gorthauer, yeah, everything looking pretty normal here. Gorthauer's going to poke in here with this Reaper. A little annoying that he didn't get the block on it with the SCV, but he's going to take some sort of pitiful shots at it with his Reaper. Just as really, it's more just graffiti at this stage. He's just using a protest here. A moves the Reaper into the natural here. Not really sure what his plan is. I think he just wants to get a little bit of damage on these Lings, but the 4 Lings are out. They're being controlled well. One does go down, but the Queen pops out and saves the rest of them from any more damage. Gorthauer's got his natural expansion on the way, and he's getting the Reactored Hellions. Now, the problem with Gorth's style here, guys, the problem with Gorth's style, playing against an opponent who knows it's coming is very different from playing against an opponent who has no idea it's coming. And Chocolate knows. He knows exactly what he's up against, and he could decide to hard counter. Now, I'm not sure exactly what Zergs can do to hard counter this strategy, to be honest. Maybe a big all-in at a certain timing that you're weak to. I mean, I know Protoss can do a big blink all-in, and it becomes very difficult to deal with. But Gorthauer could be in a little bit of trouble here. He does save this Reaper because there's only 4. So that the fact that he killed that 4th one earlier on means that he doesn't get trapped this time. It means that his Reaper gets out. So actually a really, really big deal to get that early damage there. Roach Warren already coming down for Chocolate. I don't know what his scouting information is like. He doesn't actually have an Overlord here. I think he might just be going Roaches blindly, as we saw that he doesn't actually go Roaches very often. Well, at least he didn't against Gator. And so maybe this is a preemptive Roach Warren here with a lair so that he can get the speed. He knows that's going to be important. So this might be a little bit of a blind counter, potentially. But he still has to play the game out. He still has to play properly. Just because this is the beauty of Cyclones, is just because you know your opponent's going a certain style, it doesn't mean you can just do something to beat it. Gorth already adding his first Cyclone. He's got a nice little bit of Hellions here moving out to do a little bit of damage here. He's moving them right into the third base of the Zerg. He would love to do a little bit of damage here. Playing Battle Mech from ahead is a lot easier from playing behind. So yeah, we'll have to see how he controls this if he manages to get this down. He gets a Creep Tumor here for his troubles here and a second one, so really nice double Creep Tumor snipe from Gorthauer. And now he's going into the natural expansion of Chocolate, and the Roaches are not finished yet. They're not even halfway done, and the Queens are out of position. He didn't actually make the Lings. He could do a lot of damage here. The drones are being pulled. He's got Blue Flame already, and this is pretty devastating. If he focuses on these drones, it would be a lot better for him, to be honest. I don't know why he keeps attacking these Queens, but already 9 drones go down, and this is a really nice start for Gorthauer. The Roaches come out, but I think they're too little too late. Definitely could have seen a lot more damage at that if Gorth was focusing on the drones. I think he was making sure he was hitting his macro back home, as it was a crucial timing here. Forget these extra factories and the Cyclone lock-on damage upgrade, because otherwise he would just die to the Cyclone counter, or to the Roach counter attack. So nice prioritization from Gorthauer. He gets a little bit less damage than he would like, but he's still got lots of damage. He's still in a pretty decent position, and now Chocolate's made a lot of drones to compensate for losing those. He is ahead in drones here to the 42 of the meching player, but obviously Terran having their mules, it's not going to be that bad. And Gorth is also getting his third base built at a really good time here, adding his 4th factory as well. So once this macro kicks in, it's going to be a pretty difficult situation for Chocolate to deal with. So far though, I think he's not going to be too upset. He would like to have a bigger worker lead than he does, but again, skipping the Lings early on so that you can get the Roaches out, and not having that many Queens either, means you're going to take some damage there, right? You're going to take some damage from those Hellions, and it could have been a lot worse than it was. That actually could have been game ending there. So it's nice that he is still in the game, and Gorthauer is now moving out with his upgraded now Cyclone and Hellion Force. He's got Blue Flame, he's got the upgrade for the Cyclone, so this is actually a very, very scary force, especially when it's commanded by Gorthauer, who knows how to micro this really well. He's been in a million situations like this, and he knows exactly what he wants to get done here. So he's gonna be poking away at these Creep Tumors. Obviously, you don't want to be fighting on creep if you can avoid it with the Cyclones, because it's all about speed, right? It's a need for speed. You want to make sure that you can kite the enemy units, because if they get on top of your units, you're not going to get a good trade. But look at these Lings just absolutely melting, and the creep spread is really nice for Chocolate on this side, but it's not going to matter because Gorth has the map control, and he's just going to kill absolutely everything. A bunch of Roaches now going down for Chocolate, and Gorth has kept most of his mech alive, so he starts trading really, really well. And if the game keeps going like this, he's just going to always have map control, and it's going to be really difficult for Chocolate to take any more bases, and that's what he needs. So Gorth can keep him pinned. He's getting really nice control from Gorth, keeping him at the absolute maximum range. 3 Ravagers going down. He does get another set of lock-ons here. Doesn't have a scan to back it up though, so doesn't get as many as he could have gotten, but a few Zerglings are being locked on here, so he's got to make these Zerglings just to spend the minerals and just to trick the lock-on so that it's a little bit more difficult. It all depends on how Gorth locks, or how Gorth controls this, but there's so much going on, and the Zerglings counterattack at the 3rd base of Gorthauer is pretty nice, but the reinforcing Hellion or Cyclones could deal with this perfectly fine, and Gorth is still microing his hard out on the other front, able to get lots of nice trades here. But now a few connections with the Roaches on the Cyclones does mean Gorth loses a few, but he's overwhelming him now, and now he's got that critical mass of Cyclones. He's able to just whittle down that Roach force, and he needs overwhelming numbers to engage this, but he just doesn't have it. So Gorth is just hiding away, picking away. These Zerglings get cleaned up at his 3rd base, and now he does need some more Hellions to deal with this, because there's quite a few Zerglings. So another Hellion does join, but look at the units lost at this stage. 4,500 resources, 106 units to only the 23 of Gorthauer. Obviously, Gorthauer is being much more expensive, so it looks a lot closer than that, but a 1,500 mineral difference in the resources lost here is a massive amount at this stage. Especially considering there's not an eco advantage for the Zerg, right? He's down to 56 workers versus the 65 of Gorth. He's going to just be making Roaches from this stage onwards, and he doesn't even have his +1 upgrade yet. So yeah, there's a lot of Lings here. I like this choice to go Ling heavy because there are few Hellions, but at some point the Hellions are going to join, and they're going to melt absolutely everything. Some nice micro from Gorthauer psychs these back and kills the majority of these Zerglings. So again, once you get more than 4 Hellions, these with Blue Flame, these become basically worthless. Nice little cleanup here of this counterattack. at the third base of Gorth. I like that Chocolate is continuing to try and do this, but Gorthauer is going to deal with this. He's going to lock onto these Zerglings, and now this counterattack is completely dead. And Gorth is back out on the map. He still has his map control. He's still adding more. He's still adding his armories. He's even got an engineering base so he can make planetary fortresses or turrets if he chooses to. So he's in a really nice position mid-game here, and he needs to keep denying this creep. Look at, there's a little gap here where he pushed last time, but still the creep from Chocolate is still pretty good. He's still managing to push it past that base, but I think he'd like to have it a little bit further out. But it's understandable that it wouldn't be, because he's putting so many resources into staying alive against Gorthauer. A little bit of a counterattack here gets completely wiped out, and now Gorthauer is taking a 4th base while his opponent is on 4 bases as well, but he's a Zerg, so it's not a great position. He needs to have an overwhelming economy to deal with this style from Gorthauer. He needs to be able to trade inefficiently, but he's not going to be able to do that because he just doesn't have the economy. He's actually on a pretty even economy to Gorthauer. Does have his 70 workers, which is going to be a nice thing for him, especially as he gets these extra gases, but he's not on Hive Tech, and he's starting to make Hydralisks at this stage. He does get his 1-1 upgrades finished, but he needs the speed upgrade for the Hydras and the range upgrade. He needs so many things to make these Hydras a viable option, and honestly, even the Hellions are scary against Hydras at a certain stage. Not really sure how well the Hydras are going to do, especially if they are the slow variety, but looks like he is going to push into Gorthauer with a fungal growth. He is going to get some nice trades, but the tanks now are out for Gorthauer, and as long as he micros this pretty well, he should be okay, but there's so much damage from these Hydras. They do a lot of damage, and he does manage to retreat to his tank line, so he's not going to be able to push him any further than that, but I think that did what Chocolate wanted it to do. I think he got the monkey off his back by defeating a good little chunk of that force, so it makes it harder for Gorth to push in. But now that he's leapfrogging these tanks forward, there is going to be a time where the tanks are finally on top of his 4th base, and if this 4th base goes down, it could be lights out for the Zerg player. He does have a 5th base coming down and a 6th base, so he has options to retreat to if he chooses to. But the pressure is still on him. He's getting his 2-2. He's adding 10 Hydralisks to his composition. But Gorthauer is already on his 4th base as well, and he's onto so many factories. He's even transitioning now into battle cruisers, and this is definitely a step ahead of what the Zerg player is doing, because all he's got is Hydras at this point. He is getting his Hive, but there's no Spire in sight, and fighting battle cruisers with Hydras, not exactly the best scenario. I mean, obviously he's going to have better upgrades, so it's going to be a little bit better than it could be, but it's going to be quite difficult. I think the Infestors are going to be his best bet, with the Neural Parasite might be a little bit better, but he still has to deal with this Cyclone tank force. So now it's the Cyclone tank and Hellions. He can retreat to the safety of his tanks, and every single time he does this, he's going to lose a few units for basically free, and the more Gorth does this, the better the trades are going to be. And now there's no counterattacks on his side of the map, and everything's getting moved into the tanks, and so much of it goes down. Only 63 army supply for Chocolate at this stage, and Gorth is pushing in. He realizes he's got the advantage. He's going to unsiege the tanks and move in here. He's continuing to put on this pressure. I'm so impressed with how Gorth puts this pressure on. Makes it so difficult for the Zerg. He doesn't need to multitask. He doesn't need to attack more than one place, because he forces the Zerg to put absolutely everything into this one position, and if this goes down, it's going to be lights out for him. Now he gets a nice bungle. He gets quite a lot of damage done, but now the trouble is that he's got lots of tanks, and the tanks are actually the transition here, because he's got to deal with how many tanks is this? This is so many tanks, and now the Cyclones aren't even the problem. Now the tanks are the problem, and you've been trying to deal with the Cyclones all game, but now you've got to deal with their big brother. And Gorth gets a nice lock-on on this, but that's actually just a bait to get this army to commit on the Cyclones, and now the tanks are sieging up and funneling everything into this choke point. This is exactly what Gorth wants. He's sieging up the Liberators, and now he's got Liberators and Siege Tanks, and he's going to be transitioning even into Battle Cruisers at some stage, but he's getting the Liberator range, so I think that's actually his preferred choice here. He doesn't even need the Battle Cruisers. He can just make the Liberators with the range, and that nothing that Zerg has at this stage would deal with that. He's forced to make Zerglings. He is adding a Spire, but again, he's a little bit behind here. The 4th base goes down. A big Ling counterattack goes to Gorthauer's 3rd base. I think Chocolate realizes this is his only chance here, is to equalize the economy, and he puts Gorthauer down to 52 workers, so a nice little counterattack there, doing lots of damage, but it's really difficult because he doesn't have the army to deal with the main force. So 2-2 does finish for our Zerg player. He's got the going for the attack upgrades rather than the armor, realizing that the armor actually doesn't make that big of a difference against Cyclones since they use spells. But again, a counterattack from the Zerg player is intercepted this time by Gorthauer's mech units. So he's going to put a stop to that, and he's still sieging up the 4th base here. I don't think Gorth knows about these bases just yet, but as soon as he does, I'm sure he'll be pushing into those in short order. He must be a little bit suspicious, but look at this. The Zerglings getting in the natural. Gorthauer going down to 50 workers, and this is exactly what Chocolate needs to keep himself in this game, just niggling away with these Zerglings, doing lots of economic damage. But I don't know if it's going to be enough, considering this base isn't mining for him. He's only on 4 bases, really. And Gorthauer still has this base as a planetary, mining perfectly fine. So as long as Gorth rallies his units back here, he should be in a pretty good position. And more... Oh, he's made Ultralisks, and more Zerglings are going to potentially counterattack here. Gorth moving in on this base, realizing that this is most likely his next expansion spot, sieging up so many Liberators. It's going to be really difficult for Gorth to handle the counterattack if he commits the Ultralisk, but he doesn't. He just commits with Zerglings, and Gorth leaves the Hellions behind, realizing that's his only chance is to keep counterattacking with Lings. Leaves a hefty amount of Lings. Of Hellions back home, but even then, he's pulling them back, and the Zerglings are doing a ton of work here. Gorthauer going down to 36 SCVs, so this is not what he wants from this game, but the lock-ons on the Ultras might just be too much here. The Ultras get absolutely melted by these Cyclones with their spell damage. It doesn't matter how much armor you have. And yeah, there's a big counterattack here, but I'm not sure that the army is going to be forgiving once these armies actually engage. I don't really see how he's going to deal with this Liberator count. He's making 3 Corruptors. He's got a few Ultralisks. One of them is very, very low health. I don't know how much health that's at, but that's insanely low health. And Gorthauer is still stable, mostly on his 4 bases, and he's killed this base in the bottom left. So this is his lifeline here. This 4-base Zerg is kind of all in at this stage, and as long as Gorth realizes this, he can siege up and not die to absolutely everything. And the Liberator sieging up just in time to save this. Chocolate realizing that he doesn't want to attack into this if it's sieged up. He needs to keep the counterattacks going. So 41 workers of Gorth to the 63 of Chocolate, and Chocolate retaking this 4th base here, trying to keep himself in the game. Does a late game Muta switch. Not sure what the idea is going to be here. Maybe force Gorth to make turrets in a low eco situation. It might be a little bit awkward, and he is going to help against the Liberators, but Gorth is adding Vikings to this mix. The Liberators can be used as air-to-air units, and the Ultralisks are really not going to do all that much against this composition, considering he's got Cyclones and tanks en masse, and he even sieges up these Liberators. There's a ton of lock-ons going down on these air units, and the Zerg units are lagging behind, and the Ultras are just a little bit late to the party. They don't have anything to buffer for them, and as long as Gorth chases this down, he's going to get these Ultralisks for basically free. This is a nightmare situation. 1 Ultralisk going down already. Gorth deciding not to chase it, instead leaving everything sieged up, making sure he doesn't die to any kind of counterattack, and more Lings counterattacking at the natural expansion, doing, again, lots of damage, but the army trade's still so great for Gorthauer. He's up to 148 supply. He's lost almost nothing for the last 5 minutes. He's going to lock on this base and kill it once again, but he needs to retreat to the safety of the tanks and the Liberators, because the Lings against the pure Cyclones are actually really, really strong. You need those Blue Flame Hellions to keep you safe. These Zerglings, how many kills has he gotten in this game? 70 SCVs killed for the Zerg, but he's still at less than half the army supply of Gorthauer. Gorthauer smells blood. He's pushing in even further, and big shots going down on these Ultralisks. They do close the distance onto these tanks, but now the Cyclones are going to join the party, and they're going to melt these Ultralisks, and there's almost nothing left for Chocolate at this stage. Now Gorthauer splitting off and going for, but now there's a small counterattack, but it gets intercepted, and GG is called. Gorthauer takes the series 3-2. I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what to say. I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very happy with how our team played that, guys. PlatHeroes have shown themselves to be a very strong team. They were very good at picking maps. I like how they predicted which map Wolfshaw was going to be on to take a map off of, to have Magnath take a map with a cannon rush. And I like how they played the series, or played the match against Gator. But in the end, let's be real, the stronger team won. The Drunken Outlaws are a powerful force to be reckoned with. We've got a scary Cyclone man. We've got a literal alligator. We've got a goddamn wolf, okay? and we've got a ghost, a supernatural entity. Now, I don't know what team you need to put together to deal with that force, that comic book quadruple, but this wasn't it. So next time, come at us with a little bit more heft, guys. That's all I have to say. All right. GG's to everyone. Well played. So proud of you guys. And thanks to Platinum Heroes. On a serious note, thanks to Platinum Heroes. You guys are a great team. I look forward to playing you guys again in the future. And that's it for me, guys. I hope you have a really good night, and we'll see you next time.